John Olivier here from Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding and Serious and Silliness Outcast. And I have a great new website to show you. If you are interested in peptides such as semaglutide, which everybody knows is Ozempic, then you need to go to this website, www.eqno.com. That's eqno.com, because these are peptides at a discount price. And you'll get an additional 10% discount if you use my discount code, John, John. Why don't we just take a look at the site so you could see for yourself? Let's see. Here it is. This is the site, EQNO Scientific, where you can get semaglutide, you can get tirzepatide, and you can get retatrutide. They are now on sale for $129 per 10 milligram vial. But if you use my discount code, John, John, you can get each bottle for $116. And to be honest, I don't know where you're going to find it cheaper than that. I've looked around. I don't see any of these peptides that inexpensive. This is a great new site, and he was going to have even more peptides coming in the future. As of right now, these are the 3 available at a discounted price. Remember, www.eqno.com, and remember to use my discount code JOHN for an additional 10% off. All right, guys, thank you, and enjoy the video. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, Dorian.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jay.
We can hear you, Mr. Orange. We can hear you.
We got Luke, and we got a special guest, King KAMALI, on Muscle Talk this week.
Right, baby. That's right.
Can you get some vodka with you?
Oh, can you believe that, man?
Dude, congratulations. Holy
Listen,
shit.
it was a phone call from a friend of mine that I've known for 30 years. He lives in the Hamptons. He's, Mr. Hamptons, multimillionaire.
I was going to say
they call him the king of propane. So he called me up. He goes, King, I want to talk to you about something. So I went up there and we sat down together. It was another guy there who was from Miami.
Right.
And we just clicked. The guy from Miami's like, this is the guy I've been looking for. And I was like, yeah, so the only concern that they had is, how am I doing with this bodybuilding thing? I was like, bodybuilding was 20 years ago.
We're done.
Yeah.
I'm a full-fledged alcoholic now.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a huge project, but I have connections. They have connections, and we started it. So it's looking good so far.
Is it out yet or not yet, the vodka?
Yeah. We launched it on July 3rd. We launched it. We had a huge white party up in the Hamptons.
Yes.
I mean, it was off the. Listen, I have to be honest with you guys. I've seen Rich, but these people got issues, man.
Yeah.
They take Rich to the next level. So
the Hamptons is no joke. What's the name of the vodka?
It's called 631. That's the area code of the Hamptons.
That's right. Wow. All right, cool. 631 vodka. All right, I got to check it out. All right, cool. All right. So Dorian showed us a picture of young Dorian meeting King KAMALI in 2002.
Classic picture. Classic picture.
Were you in that show in 2002, King?
Yeah, 2002. I don't think so. No, I was in there 2001. Not 2000. I don't think so. Was I?
No. You were working the booth at the expo.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Weren't in contest shape.
Yeah, those are the fun ones, by the way, when you're not in contest shape and having to sit at the booth.
And then, King, I don't know if you know Luke. He's a 212 bodybuilder. He's doing the Texas. So you're doing Texas, right, Luke?
No, I'm doing Legion Sports now.
Oh, Legion, right. I'm sorry, Legion. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, King, normally I got Bo Lewis on and Phil Clayhar, but they're both doing Chicago this week, right?
Right.
So last week, Bo and Kerith Baggio did the 212 Linda Murray show, and Bo came in second, and Kerith came in first. So I did the review, and I was like, well, obviously Bo got robbed because he's my friend, and that's the way it goes on my channel. If you're my friend, you should be winning when you come in second.
Right.
And then I said, well, kidding aside, and then Kerith reached out to me. And he's like, dude, you're hilarious. So he's coming on Friday. I tried getting him to come on now, today. And he goes, oh, man, what time are you recording? I said, 8:30. He goes, that's past my bedtime. I went, what are you, 6? What, do you got to get up for pre-K in the morning? What? Holy shit. Yeah. But anyway, what did you guys look at Vancouver? Did you guys see Vancouver last week? Because Beef Stew really did not look good. I was calling him to win it, and he looked bad.
A lot of them didn't show up.
Yeah. It was Beef Stew came in fifth, and another Stanimal was it was pretty bad. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him because he went in that show really confident because I messaged him because he's been on the show before. And I messaged him. I was like, good luck this weekend. He's like, yeah, I can't wait. It's a lot better in person. It's not like an Instagram pic. Wait do you see the improvements I made? And he goes, mark my words, I'm taking this one home, blah, blah. And then he didn't even get I don't even think he didn't get first call out.
Seventh or eighth place.
Yeah. So I felt bad for him. But he's doing Chicago this week too. John Jewett won. And, here's a question. All right. Robin Strand took third. I think both his biceps are torn. Did you notice that, Dorian?
Yeah, he definitely his right bicep is torn.
It looks so bad that how does judging put him in third when your tear is that bad?
Where was the show? Vancouver?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robin's from Canada, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, there's your answer.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget.
Come on, man. You gotta always put the political thing in there too, right?
You're 100% right. I forgot about that. You're right.
Don't forget, I call that the Paco Batista effect. No matter who shows up, if Paco's competing in his hometown, he's winning.
Yeah, that's right. So this week we got Chicago coming up, and it just turned out to be a stacked lineup. It's not going to be a walk in the park for Phil. I think he's going to be in the mix. Don't get me wrong, but between Phil, Tim Budishane, Stanimal, Nathan Epler, who else we got?
Don't forget the Egyptians, man.
That guy is insane. You got who else am I thinking of? Felix Norman. And there's one new guy that we got to look up. Oh, Vlad. What's his name? Vlad. Well, Vlad is doing it, but there's another new guy that we got to look up, bro. This guy is insane. And Jay, Anthony Delaventura is doing this show.
Who's that?
Anthony Delaventura. He was from Staten Island. Now he's in Jersey.
Yeah, why does that sound familiar?
You know him. He's always at the shows. He's a trainer. He has a personal training thing. You know.
How's he looking?
Yeah, he's gonna get smoked.
Who was the guy? Tim in Vancouver.
Tim Budishane.
He took second.
He took second. Yeah.
Yeah, he brought it.
He looked good.
He did. That's probably the best Tim Budishane and the best John Jewett we ever saw in Vancouver.
I like John Jewett. He's got a good physique.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do well.
From 212, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stanimal came from physique to classic physique. I think 212 and now open, if I'm right.
Yeah, he came all the way up.
So, all right, let's check out some of these guys in the Chicago Pro because there's a couple of guys that are really impressive. And if anybody wants to see Bonac, there he is. But Vlad, let's look at Vlad because Vlad has this physique, right, King? Maybe you could explain it better, King. When you look at Vlad on Instagram,
right,
he looks amazing,
right,
and a lot of times it doesn't transfer to on stage. He really gets beat a lot.
Yeah, because it's a structure thing. He's incredibly wide, and he's got those really crazy bouldered shoulders and all have you. But what happens is it throws everything off when he gets under those lights. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Okay. So you look at these pictures, you're like, wow, how could this guy lose? And not only does he lose, there are times he gets wrecked, and I'm like, I didn't see that coming. You know, I think he'll be in the mix, but I still think somebody like Phil could beat him because of structure. Then there's a couple of new guys that look really good. Let's see if I can get the other new guy that I had no clue who he was. Let's see.
You're probably thinking about Mohammed Foda. Is that what you're talking about?
I think that's the guy. Yeah, he might be right.
Yeah, he's the second Egyptian kid. He's compact. He's like Mustafa Mohammed, but shorter and more compact.
Yes, this guy. This guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
this guy looks incredible. And again, I mean, I
dangerous.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on stage. Don't get me wrong, but according to these picks, he looks like he's going to be dangerous on that stage, man. I don't
He
know.
looks like a combination of De La Rosa and Victor to me. It's like half Victor Martinez, half De La
Yeah.
Rosa.
And who else do we got? Let's look at Stanimal. Stanimal does actually look pretty good. He did make some improvements from last week. Was this when was this? This was this week. This was 7 hours ago. The only thing is, he's just he just doesn't have the size of the other guys. The
He's
other
a little
guys,
shallow.
yeah, yeah. The other guys are so much bigger. He doesn't have the size, but he comes in shape. And Phil's progress picks are. He doesn't show much in his progress picks. Phil, he's not a big social media dude, but his back is insane. Phil's back is like next level, like he doesn't show a lot. Like this is his like last one he put up about a week ago, about 4 days ago. And he doesn't show much. But I think from what Patty was saying last week, he looks phenomenal. When you see him from the back, his back is just ridiculous. He has a Mr. Olympia back. It's his front poses that are thrown off a little bit. Let's see. This was what? This was the Olympia, right? Yeah, this was the Olympia. He said he is saying that he made improvements, that his waist is smaller than last year. So we'll see. But what do you guys think? Who do you think is the front runner for this one? This one's tough to call.
Where's the list? Did you send that?
Yeah, I sent it to you. You want me to send it again?
Was it on a group one?
No. Let me see. Just from me.
That's your deck.
Yeah, I'll send it to you again. Yes. There you go. I'll be honest with you. I want to pick that guy Foda from the picks.
Me too.
Yeah, if he's in shape, if he comes in shredded.
Now, where is he from? You know about him, King?
Yeah, I know there's two Egyptians, Mustafa and Foda. But I think when you talk about anybody from Egypt, first thing you think of is legs. It's something about them, the genetics or the water or something over there, that these guys have these massive legs from Egypt. I personally think that it's going to be those Egyptian guys to worry about. And then your guy Tim, that guy's dangerous too. German.
Yeah,
I put Tim, Foda, and Hassan up there.
Yeah,
Hassan Mustafa. I don't know what he's doing, man. He just does not come in shape. The last show we did, and his progress picks, I'll pull him up. He
looks soft.
Bad. Like he's not even trying.
I think Nathan Epler is really impressing me.
Epler is good too, and that new kid Felix. This is his this was what, 3 days ago. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
No, definitely not. And he did not. What show did he do, Dorian? Was he in your show?
He was in Toronto.
It was in Toronto. Yeah, he did not look good at all. Not at all. It was a pretty bad showing.
He was just way too soft.
Yeah, so he's obviously doing Chicago. It's right here, but this is the kind of guy, he's got to come in shredded, because if he doesn't, his waist is so thick it just throws everything off. And this guy too, I think he's making his pro debut, Felix. This guy's good. Well, he's in shape. Let's put it that way. We got to see what he looks like on stage. Let's see what he looks like on stage.
Right from the side.
That's what I don't. He's definitely in shape.
There's a lot of similar physiques. A lot of these guys all pretty much look the same, to be honest.
Yeah. That's actually really good.
Light on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about Phil. I think Phil has a potential to do well just because he's like the oddball physique. He's going to be the tallest guy in the show, probably.
He's going to be the tallest guy. He's wide. He's got good legs. He's improved his legs. It's the only his back shots are lights out, right? The only poses that throw him off are like things like his front double by, because for some reason I don't know why structurally his front double by doesn't look as great. I don't know if it's waist or what it is. I don't know. It's his legs, and but this guy,
his lower legs.
Let's see. Let's go back to Phil. Maybe we got some other picks we could pull out. Let's see. I still think he could win if everything. He's going to be in the mix, 100%, right?
I agree.
I still think he could win. If but this was the Olympia, he definitely wasn't at his best in the Olympia. See the front double by? It's kind of a little off. But this wasn't his best look at the Olympia. But when he turns around is when it's lights out. Let's see. This was the Masters Olympia or the regular Olympia? I don't remember.
I think that's Masters Olympia.
It might be this. Yeah, this might be the Masters Olympia. He brought a little bit of a better package than he did to the.
Yeah, his lower abdomen looks a little bit more.
Yeah, he just looks more spliced. That's it. He's got to come in shape.
Yeah.
So when all's said and done, it's still, you talk about the 90s, the 2000s to now. You still got to be in shape. When you're in shape, it's a whole different ballgame. And it's still going to come down to conditioning. You listening, kids? Conditioning.
That's the God's honest truth, and that's why let me see. Anthony, I'm trying to pull this guy. He's a great guy. Anthony Deluxe. Yeah, you know him, Jay. This guy, he did the New York Pro. He's going to get killed, but.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think this was his last.
How do you do in New York?
He's not. He doesn't do well. he doesn't. He doesn't do well. Anyway, I've known the kid since high school. He doesn't do well. He's not. And he's my age. He's 48.
King, I don't know if anybody squats anymore.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. Well, listen. I don't. I'm going by what I see in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I see in the gym is a completely different mindset than back when I used to do it. So it's every once in a blue moon. I don't know if you do this, Jay. I mean, it's fun. I get bored and I'll grab somebody and I'll be like, yeah, can you come do one set with me? Or, let me do it my way. And then what I'll do is I'll go and I'll take them to hell. And then just to teach them a lesson, like, guys, what you're doing is a waste of fucking time. Go back and look at some Dorian videos. Go look at some Branch Warren videos. That's how you get big. What you guys are doing, and I see it all the time now on TikTok and this, where they compare like somebody doing back from now to what the way Jay and Ronnie and we used to do it. So
yeah,
it's a whole different world. I'm sorry.
Dude, nobody does bent reverse rows. Nobody does bent rows. Dude, there's this kid.
Yeah. But to get your level, of course you do.
Well, good. You have to, right? But there was this kid in the gym about a month and a half ago, and I saw him training legs. He was right next to us while we were training, and he was doing a couple things improperly. So I just pointed a couple things at him, and he thanked me. And I said, "Dude, if you want to jump in, we're doing legs next Friday, right?" So he comes in, we train legs, and never showed up again. Dude,
I knew that was happening.
I'm 52 years old, dude, right? I don't
Jay, you don't even have to go that far. Like what I'll do is something a little bit different. And I'm going to give it away now. So I'm sure you guys are going to do it to somebody else. But this is what I do. Like I'll go on the hack and I'll see like they're doing 4 plates incorrectly on the hack squat.
Right.
So what I'll do is like, hey, can I show you how to? Yeah, sure. Then I'll go in there and I'll go sit down and I'm talking to him while I'm going down. Like, okay, so you go all the way, and then I'll sit at the very bottom for like 15 seconds and explain to him and then come back up and rack it. Like it's feathers for me. And I hand it and they look at me. And then that's when they realize that it's not how much, is how you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what matters, is how you do it. The concentration on the negatives, the making sure you got the mind muscle connection, all that stuff. Now, no. And that's one. And I know this is a little bit off the subject, but to them, Bumstead is God.
Oh, big
I don't know
time.
if you guys see this.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he is literally a walking god to these guys, man.
Yeah.
It's
and they think he's Mr. Olympia, and I have to tell them that. Go, he's not Mr. Olympia. Yeah. My favorite is the blind leading the blind. That's my favorite. And if you ever want to get a guy really insecure, is when he's training his girlfriend and he has no clue what he's doing, the blind leading the blind, and you say, you want me to help you, and then I'll be like, hey, you do it like this, and then he'll immediately get defensive and go, well, I told her to do it like this because of this, and I go, you're putting the cart before the horse, man, or sometimes I've done this before, right? This is really fucking stupid. I was never as strong as King. I was probably never as strong as anybody on here, but compared to the regular guy in the gym, I'm pretty strong. And then there'll be like somebody squatting next to me in the squat rack, or somebody bench pressing next to me with the bench, and I'll be like, "Man, you picked the wrong day to do this, man, because you got to do it next to me. Your girlfriend's watching this, you're going to be embarrassed."
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, I got my ass. One of the biggest lessons I ever learned, to be honest with you, is when I did a photo shoot with Rico McClinton and Ronnie Coleman. And when Ronnie picked up the 120s to warm up on the incline, I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me, man! Come on, man!"
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, and you don't want to look stupid because all the photographers there, half the gym is watching you. But that's when I started to realize that there's next level. You know, it's here, and then there's other levels after you that you got to keep going and got to keep going. And I just don't see that anymore. I see it in some of the pros. I'm sorry, I'm gonna feel like an idiot because I don't know who's the 212 champ's name right now.
What the hell's his name? Jesus Christ, not Clarita.
Not Clarita. It's who beat him?
What's his name? Jesus Christ. Yeah, nobody. Don't worry, nobody knows.
I was just talking about him. The young guy.
Yeah, the guy who just beat Clarita.
Yeah.
Little.
I call him Little Flex Wheeler. That's why I don't know his name.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. I'll get his name.
And I've seen his training videos. Then that's what I'm talking about. That kid trains. He trains. So does Sean Clarita.
Clarita trains like a beast.
Yes, and that is the kind of training that you need to do. You know, you got to look at those. If you want to talk about the new generation of guys, those two guys right there. Is it Breon? Breon? No,
Breon.
That's his name? No, that's not his name. My phone's not even fucking working. You know
Keon.
what? Kids could. That's
Keon.
it. Keon. That's right.
Keon.
Keon.
Keon. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Keon.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, he doesn't watch this.
But that's the kind of training that you need to do to be at that Olympia level. That's it. Or Hadi Chupon type training. That type of training.
Yeah. King, who was the strongest guy you ever trained with?
That I ever trained with?
Yeah, like Ron. Seriously trained. Really?
Ron.
Okay. So you were up in that.
The strongest guy that I've ever seen with my eyes was Animal from the Road Warriors. I've never seen.
Really?
Oh my God. He was curling 225 like I would curl the bar. And and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Really?
You know, that's just, you got that. I call that lumberjack strength. You know how, lumberjacks can fucking pick up a tree and just walk around and shit. Yeah, that's the kind of strength that I've seen. Yeah, but Animal from the Road Warriors was next level. Him and the Barbarian, they were training together. Both of them.
Yeah.
I saw him in North Carolina at Ric Flair's gym, and that was the most impressive feat of strength I've seen. But bodybuilding wise, I would always say, Ronnie, Johnny Jackson,
Yeah, that's true, yeah. What about you, Dorian? Who was the strongest guy you ever trained with?
Good question. I'm blanking. I don't know.
Because you train hard, but you train like very methodical. How can I say that? It's very mind muscle connection with you.
Yeah, it's making sure you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially over the past like 3-4 years, I really lightened up my load and just kind of focused on time under tension and range of motion. And that's kind of how I go about it. I see guys in the gym pushing more weight than me, but at the same time, I'm bigger than all of them.
Yeah. But, that's what's funny is that they don't put two and two together, right? They'll look at it and they go, I could lift more weight than him, but they don't say to themselves, well, but why is he a top tier bodybuilder and I'm not, right? Why is he is able to put so much muscle on and I can't? Instead, they just go right to their ego and go, oh, look at that. I could lift heavier than fucking Dorian Haywood or King Kamali or whatever.
Yeah, but you have to make those adjustments. Okay. I guarantee you, if Dexter hadn't gone to California to work out with Charles Glass, he would have been fucked up.
Right.
Because he needed to learn a new style. I mean, even right now, I got aches and pains here and there, but I changed a lot of things around. I do a lot of different types of movements because of pain and joints and all that stuff. But you have to make those adaptations. One guy that I like when I watch is Nick Walker. And when he wants to, he will go heavy. I've seen him pick up some heavy. But most of the time, I think that Darian is doing the same thing. It's more very, very controlled negative movements, which is an excellent way to grow. Here's a philosophy that I was taught from a long time ago from these Russian guys. You grow on the negative, not on the positive. That's what I always think when I'm doing my workouts, and that's what I always tell these kids now, or anybody who contacts me. Concentrate on the negative, okay, and squeeze on the positive. Positive is shaping, negative is growing.
Luke, what about you? Who was the strongest guy you ever trained with? You?
I haven't trained with anybody stronger than me yet.
No,
not joke. I want to, because I was telling one of my friends, I said, I wish the way that, you know, people train with me, I wish there was someone stronger than me to where I could be like, okay, and I got to push. I don't know if I would push harder or not, because they're pushing. Because I push myself.
Yeah.
Like with as far as the weight and everything, and if I can't do the weight right, I won't lift it.
Right.
I won't touch it.
100% you will train harder when you're training with someone that's strong.
Yeah.
100% you will train harder.
It's got it. Well, didn't you, King? Didn't you? There's a story you told me where you trained with Milos, and he tried to make you throw up.
Not throw up. He tried to kill me. Big difference. Big difference. Yeah, you know, we did those giant sets and stuff, you know, and he had me doing all. And I told him, and right off the bat, I said, Milos, I'm not gonna quit. So no matter what you throw at me, there's no way I'm gonna quit. He goes, oh, I've heard that before. 30 minutes into the workout, and he goes, all right, yeah, you're like you're different. You're different. I'm like, I told you, I'm not gonna fucking quit. You know, there's no way you're gonna hear me say those words. I crushed myself under the weights before I quit.
Yeah. You know, nobody ever talks about Dave Palumbo and how strong he was, but there was a point he was squatting 6 plates, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I trained with Dave a little bit.
What do you think?
Dave didn't use a lot of heavy weights.
Really?
Oh, he did.
Because when you hear him on his show, he's talking about how, you know, at one point he was squatting 6 plates, and he says things like, you know,
he might have, but for a 300-pound bodybuilder, King, right? I mean, that's
yeah, good point. Yeah,
I squatted 6 plates. I'm, you know,
God damn,
5'5". You know, like
holy shit.
So
yeah, it's a different. Yeah, Jason, you have to understand something. Like true strength is different from you're taking 80 milligrams of halotestin and you know you're a 3,000. That type of strength is a little bit different. You got guys like Akeem walking around. That's true strength.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Right.
You know, somebody who'll put 5 plates down, go sit down, and just like I said, talk to you for a second and come back up and rack it. That's true strength.
Right. Yeah. You know, yeah, I agree. There are guys that are just freakishly strong.
Believe me, I miss those days of the 80 milligrams of Halo a day or Halo, whatever, and you're picking up the 120s and throwing it. Yeah, I miss those days, but that was what I call Halloween strength.
What was Halo? Why is halotestin make you so strong? Because you're right. The one time I did use it,
strong androgen effect, man. My God, it just gave you that literal Superman strength.
Yeah, it's insane. But at the same time, it also makes you fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's the most psychoactive of all the anabolic compounds.
Really?
Make you aggressive. No, and I think that's why a lot of bodybuilders and powerlifters like it. You know, as bodybuilders are getting closer to the show, that's generally when they use it. And that's when you don't have a lot of energy to push, but you go in there, and next thing you know, you're fucking pissed off for no reason.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Crush the weights.
Darian, I knew back in my time, I won't say the name because I've gone through this before. I won't say the name, but I knew a top 3 Olympia competitor that used to sniff it.
Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ, man.
Straight up. He used to call it the green powder. You just
wow.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that was the good old days, though.
The guys talk about, you know, how nuts the young kids are. The 90s guys were out of their fucking mind. They really were. They were fucking nuts. I mean,
well, we were nuts for different reasons. Like nowadays, the kids are nuts for lacking in certain areas. You know, where we were nuts because we just didn't give a shit. You know, we did what we had to. Actually, somebody asked. Actually, the same kid that did legs with me that one day. I run into him this morning and I haven't seen him. And here's a funny story. He said, this dude, that day we were training, he said, I asked you a question. He goes, and it's stuck with me ever since. He said, how do you do it? How did you find the way? He said, because I looked you up and I saw your career. how do you do it every day and have the motivation to go in there and train your ass off and do this and do?" He goes, "And even now at your age, you're still in there every day doing it." It's like, what was, what's the secret to doing that? And he said, "Do you remember what you told me?" And I said, "Dude, I could think about it, but I don't really remember offhand." He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You got to be a little fucked up."
Yeah.
He's like, and dude, it was the most honest answer I've ever heard in my life. And it just resonated in me. He's like, "You got to be a little fucked up, to do shit like that." And nowadays, kids are fucked up, but they're not fucked up like that, where they're into self mutilation, or masochistic type tendencies.
Or sticking your dick in peanut butter, right, Jay?
Yeah, the 90s, y'all did it. They did it. They did it for fun. You guys did it for fun in the 90s. It was more fun. They're doing it for likes on Instagram now.
Yeah, right. Good point.
There was no Instagram. You guys will have it. It looked like a party every time in the gym. When I was looking at magazines and see little videos here and there, I'm like, dang, they look like they're having a good old time.
Yeah, you're right. But let's. I don't want to go past that story because you haven't told that story in a long time, Jay. And I don't know if you ever told King Kamali that story about when you stuck your dick in your girlfriend's peanut butter.
Dude, it wasn't my girlfriend. No, I didn't.
I don't want to know that story.
Yeah, but the people listening and watching want to know now. I guess so. You got to tell them.
I got a good one. I got a good one. Like Jason has too. I was at the Australian Grand Prix backstage, and I'm not going to say the name of the competitor, but it's a German competitor. You put 2 and 2 together,
right.
And we were talking. And he was asking me, he's like, "Yo, how'd you get your Muscle Tech contract?" And we just started talking. And then he goes, "How much D-ball, you take off?" So I said to him, I was like, "All right, I gave him the dose." And then he goes, he didn't understand. I kept trying to explain to him milligrams, like maybe I'm saying something wrong. And then his wife turned around and said, "No, how much?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm telling him how much." He goes, "No." And how much?
Oh,
no,
hell no.
Looking at it, and then finally I put 2 and 2 together. I realized what he was saying. See, he didn't count milligrams. He poured it in his hand. And
how many
when
pills?
It weighed enough, then he threw it in his mouth.
Jesus Christ.
That was 1990s. That is the epitome example of what we were doing back then.
Exactly.
Just pour it in your hand. If it feels right, that's the amount of points you swallow.
All right, Jay, now tell the dick peanut butter story.
No, Jay, don't, please. Every time I go on RX Muscle, Valentino freaks me out with those stories, man. I don't want to hear it.
It's nothing like that.
The sickest people I've ever met.
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. I don't want you to have any impure thoughts about me. So we can move on and you can think, "Hey, he's a good guy."
Dorian, how you feeling? Because you're coming up. You're doing Tampa, right?
Yeah, I actually feel really good today. I've got 2 meals in me. My calories are going to be about 2,000 by the end of the day. Yesterday, the first day going down to that heavy depletion kind of fucks with my head.
Yeah, right.
But it was no problem. And here I am today, doing better than yesterday. As soon as we get off here, I'll send you some of my progress pictures I took last night.
How many?
Impressive. I need to tighten the back still, but from the front, I'm almost ready.
All right, good. How many more weeks you got?
2.5 till Tampa, and I got everything booked: flight, Airbnb, contract signed. Got my car rental for Tampa and Texas.
Tampa, Jesus, Tampa is only 2.5 weeks away. Before you know what the Olympia is going to be. I can't believe how fast the season's going. Seriously, because it's Chicago this week. Then next week it's Dubai, and then you got Tampa, and then Texas. King, where does Dubai get all this money for prize money?
Oil.
Yeah, there's the correct answer right there.
Oh, shit.
Plus, I don't think they got taxes over there either, to be honest with you. I don't think they get taxed.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think there's taxes in Dubai. And I'm almost 100% sure about that. Have you been there?
No, I've never been there.
Okay, it's a different, world. But it's like anything else. It's a playground for the rich. That's basically what it comes down to. I've been to the slums of Dubai. I wanted to see everything. So the guy who was showing me around, I wanted to say, take me to the slums too. To say it's as bad, if not worse, than any slums I've ever seen. So it's like It's nothing like the fantasy world. It's the same, but it's a playground for the rich.
Because first place at the Dubai is 100,000, and second place is 40,000. Second place is better than most first place shows in the States.
Right.
Right? What was the New York? The New York Pro was 30,000. Yeah, the New York Pro was 30,000 for first place. Right? And man, guys are jumping in the show. Like Bonak's doing it. He's already qualified. Nathan is doing it. He's already qualified. Because they can't turn down the money. They come in first or second, and they get
because there's no more contracts, man. That's why.
I see.
We were living in a different world. You know, the guys that are training right now and competing now, I feel for them, man. I mean, their essence as bodybuilders. We had contracts. Most of my money came from Muscle Tech and Weeder, not from competing. So it was more like it was a lot healthier. We didn't have social media. We didn't have to stay in shape all the time, you know, all that stuff. So again, things have changed, in my opinion, not necessarily for the better. The guys, they just put way too much stress. And I know we didn't talk about it, but I was going down the list that you gave me. Didn't this guy Christoph just pass away?
Yeah.
The fucking Viking guy?
Yeah, he did.
There's like three people this week.
Yeah. Last week it was Danny Broadhurst, and then there was Doug Fouché. And I think there was some girl that passed away recently, and now this guy.
Yeah, no, somebody else. So there was another
stupid
guy.
Analogy, and I don't like to make it, but it's just like mass shootings in this country. It's gonna happen again.
Yeah,
somebody else is gonna fucking die next week. Somebody else is gonna die. Not necessarily a guy, it'll be some girl. It's just
what do you think it is though? Because it seems like it's bodybuilders. What do you think it is?
It's a combination. This is my opinion, by the way. It's a combination of social media and being on shit all the fucking time.
Okay. All right.
Okay. That's what it comes down to, is looking and having we had off seasons. Jay and I used to get nice and fat. Well, not Jay. Jay was always in shape. I used to get nice and fat.
You and Lee Priest
used to take 6 months off. You'd see Kevin in Baltimore at LA's playing his guitar, looking like 185-pound normal dude.
Right, yeah.
You know, and because of his superior genetics, he'd get on shit at 3 months out, 4 months out before the Olympia. 2 weeks later, his freaking triceps are hanging down to here, you know?
Yeah. He's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things that I remember watching. It's like, holy shit, you know? So you need rest. There's no rest. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, you know, and the social media guys, too. I mean, you had Boston Lloyd, who passed. You had Rich Piano, who passed. Because even the social media guys have to stay in shape all the time. But you still got these guys coming out and doing it, like the Trend Twins. And then there's a new guy, Toogie or Togi or whatever the hell his name is.
Jason, imagine being called the Trend Twins back in the day. You get your ass kicked every
day. That wouldn't last very long.
They just competed, too, for the first time.
You get your ass beat in the parking lot.
They look like they belong down the Jersey Shore or something like that. I don't know where they're from, but
I think they're
go to Metro Plus and call yourself the Trend Twins. Ronnie will beat the shit out of you.
It's unbelievable.
Get out of the parking lot.
Are they really from Jersey?
Jersey or New York? They're from the tri-state area.
Are they really? They look like they
so.
Are. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a new guy, Togi or some shit like that. I don't know what his name is. But he admits that he just abuses steroids and cocaine, and he's goes viral on the internet. And it's like he's a 20-something-year-old kid, and I'm like, I don't know. You know, it. People don't learn from other people's mistakes. It blows me away. People just keep doing. I really think that we as a species are destined to be extinct. Because it's just like, how do you not learn?
Listen, John, I'll give you the perfect example. Everybody here in this podcast will understand exactly this. Okay. The new generation, to the person that will sum up in about 20 years, if somebody asked me, what was during that time? Give me someone who was the epitome of that era. You know what I would say? It would be the hot 2 girl. Some girl talks about spitting on fucking cocks, and now she's an overnight multimillionaire, making $30,000 appearances for birthday parties. I mean, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
That's I mean, the generation that we're in right now.
You're 100% right. The no shame generation, whatever it takes.
Who cares? And that's why it's so hard as a father. And I talk to my daughter and especially my daughter all the time. I'm like, don't fall for this shit.
That's right.
this is not the way it's supposed to be, you know. So it just makes it tougher on fathers, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Bro, I never even saw my mother drunk before. Like, I've never even saw my mother get out of her place as a lady, if that makes sense. Like, if she had a drink, it was one drink, right? Like, or, wine or something like that. I never saw her intoxicated. I never saw her dancing provocative. I never, nothing. But, my mom is now, 89 years old. That generation, the women were like, especially the Italian women, it was like, but, if there's a scene in The Godfather 2. I don't know if you remember, where Fredo's wife is drunk and dancing sloppy on the dance floor, and the whole family's embarrassed. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And then Al Pacino's bodyguard goes over to Fredo and says, Al says, he says, if Mike says, if you can't get rid of her, I have to. And he goes, yeah, I think you better. And the bodyguard drags her off the dance floor. And it was like supposed to be shameful. That's every girl now at a wedding. That's every fucking girl at a wedding, sloppy. Their skirts going up their twats and passing out. I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to say it because I refuse that I'm going to name names. But a family member, I was not at the wedding, but everybody called me the next day to tell me a family member had gotten married. This girl. It's a God's honest true story. Her friend that was in the bridal party was so fucked up. There was an outdoor wedding. It was like during the springtime or whatever. The girl passed out on like a outdoor lounge, and then she started masturbating in front of the whole fucking wedding. I swear to God, dude, she was just playing the fucking violin right there in front of everybody.
It doesn't surprise.
And then another family member who I'm closer with took a glass of water and threw it on her to try and wake her up.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was unbelievable.
That's a party.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And and then these girls wonder why they can't meet a guy. We're all the good guys. Well, I mean, maybe not with girls like you. All right. Anyway, let's get back to fucking bodybuilding. Who else is going to be at your show with you, Dorian? You know who's doing Tampa?
I don't know. I would assume quite a few of the guys from Chicago are going to come over and do it.
I would think so.
De La Rosa's doing it.
Yeah, he's going for the W. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. I mean, I know they're all going for the W, but he stopped. What show did he do early on? And then because we spoke, and he told me I'm shutting it down. I think he did the Arnold Classic, and I think he came in pretty good, like top 5 or top 6 or something like that. And he could have went on and got a W like at Toronto or New York or something like that, and he didn't. He shut it down. And remember, he told me he's gonna try to put on as much size as he can, and then qualify later in the season because he wants to be in the mix at the Olympia. He wants to be able to see if he could break the top 10, top 8 at the Olympia. He looks fucking jacked. I don't know if you saw him. He looks insane. King, have you saw it, De La Rosa recently?
I saw front double bicep pose on my Instagram feed, I think.
Yeah, his look at the size of his fucking leg, dude. That's insane. He's a hairy bastard, that's for sure. Yeah, that look at that. That's fucking ridiculous. So he's doing Tampa. He's got 2 weeks to go. Well, yeah, he could be a different person in 2 weeks. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. This is a little better. He's like a little fucking monster, this guy. Yeah, he's impressive. When he comes in shape, he's really dangerous on stage. Really dangerous. Plus, he's a good dude too.
That's my question.
What'd you say?
Is he going to be able to get that dry?
I don't know.
Question with him right now.
I don't know because I didn't talk to him. I don't know if he's doing. You're saying he's doing Tampa, but he's also Texas right after that too. So, and then there's the Legion, and everybody be quiet. Jay's sleeping. Shh. Oh
no, I got shit going on. The show's next today. My fucking phone with the expediters and all that. I got so much shit going on.
We don't want to wake Jay. Shh. It's okay.
You were there last year, remember?
Where? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Oh, what's the name of the show? The Muscle Beach.
Beach.
That's right. And how many competitors you got so far?
I don't want to talk about it. It's fucking light.
Really?
Well, dude, it's nerve wracking. That's why, like, I got a couple that just came in now, but everybody waits till the last minute to fucking sign up. So as a promoter, you put out all this money and everybody's there's still a week left to register. So, and it was the same thing last year. It's like the last week they all came piling in.
Yeah, you did good last year.
Yeah, but I've been setting up with the expediters and the judges and the tabulators and the website people. Like I got to fill out all this stuff, and it's just some tedious stuff I got to do in the next couple of days.
I never understood somebody who just jumps in a show last minute because
Well, it's not that. It's they're preparing for it, but and I get it to a certain extent. But dude, like in our day, like we committed to a show, 8 months in advance. We're fucking doing it. We're training for it no matter what. Nowadays, it's like, hey, they jump from show to show and they might back out of it so they don't like to pay until the last minute when they're really sure of it, or they have a fear of commitment. Who knows the real?
I would always pick a show and pay way ahead of time.
Yeah, I always
so
do
that's
thing.
the show I was going to do, and that's it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. That's the one I'm
sick or
getting ready
healthy,
for.
I'm going in. I'm competing. You can't take me out of it.
Yeah, that would be my goal and my target. I never just was like, well, maybe if I'm in shape, there's always this one, there's always that one. I can never operate that way.
Yeah, different generation now, dude.
Yeah, tell me about it. I don't know.
Jason, you always put on a good show. So
thank you. Yeah, King guest posed in my early years when I first started promoting.
Really?
Yeah, King, and I always brought competitors to the show
dude,
too.
He always does. King brings competitors to compete, and
because it's a fun show. Jason put on a fun show. It's a nice, fun location, and it's the Muscle Beach. Who doesn't want to do a Muscle Beach show? Come on.
Right. Didn't we paint you silver once? Didn't we paint you to guest pose?
Yeah, the good old days.
Wait, they painted you silver, to look like a robot?
It was his first year, dude. King would come out, dude. He would do these routines. He would do these guest posing, and even his competition routines.
Yeah, they were great.
They were state of the art. They were ahead of its time, and truly one of the more entertaining competitors of that era. So
appreciate it. I try to have fun, man. I mean, the whole point was to have fun.
Yeah,
he had just won his class at the Nationals and got his pro card. And were you living in Virginia at the time, or where were you?
Yeah, Virginia.
Yeah, and he came up and stayed at my house and guest posed that weekend and put on a good show for the audience.
King was a good guest poser. Vince Taylor was a good guest poser.
Yeah.
Matarazzo was a good guest poser.
Yeah. Because he just went batshit nuts. One of my pet peeves when I watch bodybuilding contests is when they do very slow, like ballerina type posing. I know it's easy to transition and to see the muscle and whatever. Just to me, it's bodybuilding. You're supposed to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the stage. Like, shouldn't you put on some metal and go ape shit? I don't know. Just make
it was also a different culture too. You got to understand that. I remember at the Orville guest posed, and I was sitting in the audience at the at the Tribeca. And I looked over and I saw Victor and I saw somebody else, all these pros. And I just got up and I was wearing my Versace black pants and a Versace shirt. And I looked up, I said, Victor, if I go up there, you come up. He goes, you go, I go, bro. You go, I go. And I jumped up there. Next thing you know, there's 15 people on stage. You don't see that no more.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. The only time you see that is at the Pittsburgh.
Mannion got on the microphone. He goes, King, you won the best pants. You won the best pants. You don't see that no more. People are afraid of Jimmy. Politics. No, we were a tight knit group. We did what we had to do. We had a lot of fucking fun. We talked shit on stage. Then we're at the Arnold Classic. We all fucking hang out. You don't see that no more, man. Now you see these fucking social media morons doing the stupidest things, and I mean, you just said the Trend Twins. I
almost give you a headache.
What do you do with that? I'm telling you, if I ever said that when I back in the day, I remember my original guys, Cacciatore, Mondo, Pineapple. These are the guys that I used to watch in just the names alone.
Yeah,
these guys were taking me and beat the crap out of me in the parking lot, man.
Yeah. Did you see the one of the Trend Twins actually went to the hospital because he passed out in the gym. He took 700 milligrams of caffeine in his pre-workout before he went to the gym. 700 milligrams. And they rushed him to the hospital, and him and his brother are in the hospital. And of course, they're still fucking videoing because you can't not video while you're in the hospital. And they were talking about how the doctor came in and asked him if he was on steroids, and he's like, "Doc, come on, do I look natty to you, Doc?" And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You know what I want to know? I want to hear Dorian and tell me about what do you guys carb up on? I'm curious about that now. Are you a white rice guy? What do you do?
I've done all kinds of different things, man.
What works best for you on your physique?
Generally does well with me and sits good in my guts.
What's that?
Back in the day, I used to use sweet potatoes like crazy. I think between the ages of like 18 and 28, I ate more sweet potato, broccoli, and chicken than 99.99% of anybody will ever eat. And my body doesn't like it anymore. So sweet potatoes are kind of out. White potatoes, white rice. I use like some fruit preserves sometimes on top of my cream of rice, blueberries.
So you use fructose too. You do fast acting sugars too.
Yeah.
Because what we used to do was tons of bananas. That's what we used to do, and dates and pineapple. Dried pineapple, dates.
King, you did the apple pie filling for a while. That was
but that's because we didn't have freaking carbolin or retardant. Right. I wish we had that. You know,
that's right. That's right.
You know, we would sit back there and eat it. Yeah, the apple pie filling sounds great until the 5th can, and then you're literally plugging your nose and you're trying to like swallow it. You know, I remember Chad coming into our room like, did you eat it? I'm like, Chad, man, I'd rather eat piles of dog shit right now. I can't do it no more, man. I can't do the apple pie. Just do it. Swallow it. I'm like, oh.
Luke, what about you? What do you use to carb up?
I just use white potatoes and basmati rice. That's good. Those work great for me.
Amen.
Wasn't there a story where Flex Wheeler mistook the the apple filling for apple pie? And he actually ate apple pie instead.
Listen, it depends on your genetics. I mean, we could sit here and literally talk hours and days about all the tricks and stuff. You know, Kim Shavesky with the conditioning. You remember, no one was as hard as her. You remember Kim at her best, right?
No guy was as hard as her.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme. Get her, and she will admit it. I'm telling you right now, you would go to her room, there'll be boxes and boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. That's what filled her out and dried her out. Everyone's different. Dexter Jackson backstage eating chips and salsa. And you're looking at him and he's laughing at everybody. Y'all don't know what you're doing. He's eating chips and salsa.
Right.
Everything works differently on different people. But in general, Luke and Dorian, white rice, white potato. Yeah, that's the basic ABCs, man.
Because I've heard some trainers I've heard some trainers actually go, never use shit, never use junk food to carb load. It's a crapshoot. You don't know how your body's going to react, or so on and so forth. And then I've always heard like guys like Juan Morel or Kim Kachevsky, they were able to do it and look amazing. So
you ever heard Michael Lockett's protocol?
Oh wow, I forgot about that guy. Yeah,
Michael Lockett, the day before a show, he'll eat a whole pizza and drink a 2-liter Coke the night before the show.
What happened to him? Why did he stop competing?
Diabetes.
Really?
No.
You're fucked up.
2 liters of Coke.
Yeah, really. No, because he was good and he retired young. Why did he stop? Dorian.
I'm not. He always had the knee issues. That's why he had that little imbalance side to side with his leg. I saw him. I went out to Venice Beach Goals gym. He's training people out of Venice Beach Goals gym right now. He still looks great, but he's not huge.
Right. Because he used to come in shredded, just chiseled.
I gotta say, after my last California, the night of the show, I ate a half the pizza. I woke up the next day, huge, tight, and dry. Consider doing it again.
Maybe I know that's why I never liked, obviously I've only competed in the NPC, but I'd have to kill myself to get in shape. And then I'd see people like that doing that shit. It would drive me fucking nuts.
But you're also taking a chance when you do that. All right. Yeah. There's every single one of us when we competed. We have a story that we eat something. We're like, oh man, if I look like this, yes, yeah, we all can say that. But you have to also put into the equation the spill over fact. You're gonna spill over, whether you like it or not. As full as you look the next day, when you start pumping up and you're on those hot lights, you're gonna eventually start to streak out, and it's gonna want to come out. So you have to put that into the equation too. It's always better to play it safe. That's what I've learned. It's always better to go back to the ABCs. Me personally, when somebody hires me to get ready, steak and rice, chicken and rice. That's it. You stick to the ABCs, you will not miss. You are what you are. You're not going to have to go this way. You don't have to go this way. You are what you are. Steak and rice, chicken and rice. It seems to work best every time.
I got one more question. And this one's more for Jay, because I last week in Vancouver, where Beef Stew really missed the mark. He really came in. He had like a layer of water on him. It was pretty bad. He did 3 shows this year, and I think Blue is his trainer, same trainer as Phil. And Blue was saying that he did too many shows and his body has to rest and so on and so forth. After 3 shows, you really think that you need to rest? Because I like, we've had these conversations before, you and me. You used to compete over and over and over. You know what I mean? It would be you, and you would always have the top guys competing in the 90s at every show over and over and over. And I never remember anybody saying, I got to let my body rest. I did one too many shows. It seemed like those guys were always in shape for the time, right? For what was in shape for the time. But now you hear like things like that. Is it accurate, or is it just not?
So my belief is the more you do things, the better you get, right? But there is that factor that comes into play where, dude, it's a taxing, preparing for a show is very taxing on your body. And you don't know what's going to do from one show to the next. With that being said, you do see this trend of athletes that only compete a couple times a year, for that explicit reason that, I don't want to stress my body out and this, but the reality is the more you stress your body, the more your body adapts to stress. But guys like Milos, King, correct me if I'm wrong, was competing every fucking week and was shredded. Charles Claremont, some of these guys were at every single show and they never missed their mark. So it just seems like it's a convenient excuse. And maybe people break mentally and they can't handle the diet for an additional final peak week, and they do things they're not supposed to do, or they fall off the wagon. And
that's what I really think it is.
Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning is. Yeah, I don't know. We're not there. So we could speculate, but the reality is there's no reason why you should. And if you're holding a little water, if your coach is qualified enough, and if you're a pro, dude, you should be qualified enough to know when you hit a wall, know which way to turn to get over it or get through it. Right. So there's things we could do when we're holding a little bit of water. There's things you could add. There's things you could take away, right? And it just seems like those things aren't being done because 1, lack of effort, or 2, lack of knowledge, or the fact that it's just a convenient excuse, But yeah, I don't see how doing 3 shows. And I like Stu, so I don't know what he did.
Everybody likes Stu.
But again, dude, there could be guys that their bodies don't handle it, but it just seems like nowadays everybody has that body that can't handle it. I just think that's a excuse.
It's the key there, what you said is mental.
Right.
It's the mental. If you have to learn to love to suffer.
Right. That's it.
Remember that. Listen,
that'd be a little fucked up.
Put a tattoo on your arm instead of putting tattoos of, whatever. Yeah, put that on. Learn to love to suffer, because you just got to have that mental capacity to sit there and say to yourself, like right now, Dorian is 2.5 weeks out. God bless you, man. 2.5 weeks out, you couldn't talk to me. Not possible. Right. I used to hire an assistant the last 3 weeks to walk around with me to talk for me.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not kidding, man.
Yeah,
I used to hire when I went to the tanning salon to talk for me. When I went to here, you're in such a zone. You're so zoned out because the level of
King, let me ask you this. How long would it take you to get out of a car?
Yeah, that was another issue too. But you know, Jason, from the beginning, I always said this to myself. Like when I was driving down the street and I would see McDonald's or I would see this, I would sit there and say, I am superior. I would always put myself above everybody else, saying, not everyone can do what I can do, which made me stronger. Physically and mentally made me stronger because I'd be driving. I mean, I did have my crazy moments. I've said these stories on so many times before where I go to the supermarket, get a cake, put a swipe in my mouth and throw the cake out the window. I threw many cakes out the window. I did that many, many times. I threw many cakes out the window. But it was me thinking to myself, I'm superior because for God's sakes, I see these guys now, and I applaud Hadi Chupon for bringing conditioning back, the '90s type of conditioning back to the sport. But we had 20 Hadi Chupons. That's who I saw. I'm like, my God, I got to stand next to Kevin Lebroni. I got to stand next to fucking Chris Cormier and Ronnie Coleman and Nasser El Somebody. You know, so it was like, there's no way I'm gonna cheat. There's no way I'm not gonna do that. Now it's a whole different world. That's why Luke and Dorian, the mentality is you gotta have that '90s. Put the blinders on, man, and think of yourself as that 1%. You're elite, and you can't do what I do. And then if you think that way, then you say to yourself, okay, other guys that are in the pro ranks, nah, man, I'm gonna take it to the next level. You can't suffer like me. That's the mentality you gotta have. You can't do what I do. You can't suffer as much as I can. That's bodybuilding.
Well, King, my point of getting in and out of the car wasn't I meant like, dude, I remember we were so fucking exhausted.
Oh yeah.
It would take me 10 minutes to get out of my fucking car just to move. Not much, and dude, you don't have the energy to have a conversation with anybody. So I get your point, but nowadays it just seems like that's not there. No. Like they're not suffering enough.
I think you know what I think there are guys that suffer enough.
Well, no, you still have. I don't mean the top guys.
No,
I don't mean
but
I think
there are no. But I think you're right. I think there are guys, and I'll do my opinion is things like Hassan Mustafa, Beef Stew. I'm gonna get shit for this, but Andrew Jack, I don't see them putting in that kind of work. Andrew Jack should be scaring the shit out of everybody when he's on stage, right? And I don't see the progress. Everybody's waiting for the Samson Dowda explosion on him, and it's just not happening. What were we gonna say, Luke?
No, I just, in my opinion, back then there was a lot of camaraderie. There was more togetherness than it is now in bodybuilding. And what I noticed back then is everybody in the '90s were having fun with bodybuilding. Yes, they were suffering, but everyone was having fun. Now it's like it's a job. And I've always told myself, the day bodybuilding feels like a job to me, I'm going to leave it alone. I already have a job. I have a job to take care of my family and everything. I'm going to leave it alone. I love bodybuilding. I love this since I was a kid. Now I'm able to do it as an adult. I started late, but I'm able to do it, and I'm having fun with it. I'm actually, that's why I don't mind something. I don't mind. It's hard. It's not easy, but I don't mind. I don't care. I'm having fun with it. It's something I love to do. But now, when I look at everybody else, it looks like that. You're taking it like it's a job. Like you hate it. A lot of times, whenever I'm off of, when I'm not in prep, I miss the suffering.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I'm like, damn, I can't wait to go through this again.
Yeah, right.
So here's an interesting point. And my opinion, like back in our time, King, right? Like, dude, we had those assholes. We had a couple assholes that we'd argue and get along, that didn't get along, and people generally didn't like. But as a whole, dude, when we showed up at the show, dude, we were all at it. We were all in it for the win. We didn't really talk much prejudging. But then after the fight was done, we were all buddies and hanging out afterwards. And I believe at that time in the sport, we almost admired everybody else and looked to see, hey, what is this guy doing? Because we were all learning from each other, right? Excuse me. And we were open to the possibility that, hey, we don't fucking know it all. And maybe he's doing something that I could do, or I'm doing something that he could do that we could all benefit from, right? And nowadays, everybody just seems to know it all.
Yeah.
where people aren't learning to, to learn from one another. Everybody has their gurus, and I'm not talking about the top level guys. Everybody has I'm talking about even at the national level where how many coaches are there, dude? There's dozens and dozens of coaches, and
Right.
nobody talks to one another. Nobody's lending anybody opinions or point of views. And I just think it was a different time where, Luke, you mentioned the camaraderie, and I believe that's what it was, is because we all generally were learning from one another, and we all respected one another. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different time. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Muscle Talk, Series and Sons Bodybuilding King. Thank you very much for coming on, bro. Really,
Anytime, brother.
always a
Love you guys.
pleasure. Luke,
Anytime.
Dorian, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the heart, man. All right, fellas. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.
Later,
All
gentlemen.
right.
Hey.
John Olivier here from Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding and Serious and Silliness Outcast. And I have a great new website to show you. If you are interested in peptides such as semaglutide, which everybody knows is Ozempic, then you need to go to this website, www.eqno.com. That's eqno.com, because these are peptides at a discount price. And you'll get an additional 10% discount if you use my discount code, John, John. Why don't we just take a look at the site so you could see for yourself? Let's see. Here it is. This is the site, EQNO Scientific, where you can get semaglutide, you can get tirzepatide, and you can get retatrutide. They are now on sale for $129 per 10 milligram vial. But if you use my discount code, John, John, you can get each bottle for $116. And to be honest, I don't know where you're going to find it cheaper than that. I've looked around. I don't see any of these peptides that inexpensive. This is a great new site, and he was going to have even more peptides coming in the future. As of right now, these are the 3 available at a discounted price. Remember, www.eqno.com, and remember to use my discount code JOHN for an additional 10% off. All right, guys, thank you, and enjoy the video.